Hi guys, my name is David Rakul and today I'll be presenting to you my final project for CS50, which is called myshell and is basically an implementation of bash itself with its basic functions, but also the most important ones. So my project itself is able to handle built-in functions such as getting lists, getting paths, changing directories, and echoes. It also has the ability to handle quotes, so it can differentiate consecutive spaces that are in quotes from the ones outside. Also has the ability to handle multiple pipes, as well as the ability to handle multiple redirections and the combination of both. It can handle one job in the background and has signal handling, so Control-C will not shut it off, but it will the projects in the background. Also, the important thing to mention is I built it using the least amount of external libraries, so only the necessary ones. Parser itself was built by me, and it was probably the most complicated part of it, but also the most interesting one to differentiate input and to put commands and everything. Okay, so let's start and let's test out the code itself. As you see, this is the final project. Let's change into the directory itself. Clear. If you want to change the code itself and compile it, you have a make file basically, so you have to press make so it compiles and then start the project itself. We'll start it with Valgrind, so you can see that there are no memory leaks. Let's start with the basic functions such as ls, pvd, echo, and we'll test out quote handling. So let's use this is CS, let's type 50 here. As you can see, it can differentiate consecutive spaces from inside the quotes and ones from the outside. Now what I want to try is CD, which also works, like I said, but changing directory is not recommended to use by itself if you are using it in this workspace VS Code Online thingy, because it gets you to the home directory, which in Linux is fine if you are on Linux, but if you are here, it gets you to this home Ubuntu folder, which basically cuts you off from workspaces, so you kind of can get back. So you have to exit and then turn it on once more. You have to make sure you're careful with that. It also has the ability to like handle pipes. Let's test it out, but you can like write it, you don't have to separate it, it can do it by itself. So let's use quotes here as well, so you see that it basically ignores quotes. See, ls grep works. It basically separates these special signs, but it won't separate the functions themselves. So if you wrote grep and this basically as a one string with no spaces in between, it'll read it as a mistake. So let's test out multiple pipes. Let's use this, get shell.h. Let's grab int and let's L. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So basically we have a perfect example. I wrote this word count with the L and it didn't read it properly as a command. But if I do the same thing now and let's write everything let's try it like this. So basically it will differentiate pipes from the text itself. Let's try this thing outside in the regular bash and see that the output is basically the same then. So it works. I have prepared some code to test out here, and this is the output, so we'll see how it behaves. These two codes are basically the same, except this one is, the second one is made for my own shell, because my can only handle these quotation marks, double quotation, but regular can handle the singular ones. So let's apply this. Okay, this is not my shell. Let's apply this here, and let's look at the output. And now I'll append, so you can see it can append as well. Append the other one, copy, and start my shell, and see they are basically the same. One more thing I prepared to test out multiple outputs is to use this thing to alphabetically basically sort these things in code, but for that I might have to make sure that these are deleted. Okay, so I deleted all of these, and let's test this out. Copy, sort. As you can see, the code.txt popped out, and the word count is there. Let's copy this and use cat here and append it to code.txt and see what happened. It's basically sorted alphabetically. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to show you is the ability to handle signals. So as you may be able to see right now, Control C does nothing basically, but if I start a project like sleep for 10 seconds, it basically does nothing, but if I press Control C, it stops it. Let's try that immediately so you see it happens. But if I put ampersand at the end, it starts in the background. As you can see, you can use other things, other commands while it's asleep. Also, it has the ability to handle mistakes, as you can see. So using, let's say, ls grep, let's .c, is using special signs, no child processes. So the reason why it didn't work is these can go hand in hand basically. If I use them by themselves, as you can see, it doesn't work. Same as with the input output. So some of those things are considered a mistake. That's basically to make sure you don't break the shell itself. So it does what it's meant to do, the functions that I implemented, without you being able to break them. Okay, so that's it. Those are the most important features. If you want to check out the code itself, you can basically read the README file or check out the files themselves. They have plenty of comments where I go in depth basically how the stuff works, how I implemented it.